Okay. Hey, what's going on? Charles Austin here, and let's be fit forever. Um, I'm sitting on the couch like a lot of us are today on a Sunday, and just, watching a little football and enjoying a nice day. And, you're looking at, you're watching the game, and of course, there's commercial breaks, and you're looking at the ads, and they have ads for cars, they have ads for vacations, they have ads for uh, jewelry, perfume, whatever it may be. But what they also have is lots and lots of ads for food, or food, as I like to say it, right? And I'm looking at the ads, and I'm just wondering, okay, I see an ad for uh, fried chicken. I see an ad for cheeseburgers. I see an ad for candy, an ad for soda, an ad for fast food, an ad for pizza delivery, so on and so forth. And I'm just thinking, well, at what point are we going to see an ad for, I don't know, a smoothie, some water, some vegetables, some whole grains, something that our bodies actually need? And I started thinking, I said, well, it appears that the advertising companies are very, very smart at what they're doing. They're literally selling you something that you don't need. So today, like I said, I want to talk to you a little bit about the fact that food advertisements don't actually advertise food; they advertise disease. So, and if you're this is your first time on the channel, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe so that you're always up to date with the latest content posted here on my channel. So, I wanted to start out right here. I'm gonna get right into it. I wanted to start out right here and kind of start out with the fact that I'm not sure if everybody understands exactly how advertising works, but there's a science behind it. There's a lot of research, there's a lot of effort and energy that goes into advertising. It doesn't just have to be food, it could be anything. So, and this is, look at the date on this. And this is some of the things that when I'm looking for information to share with y'all, I really love when I find, um, I really love when I find stories and articles that are not new, right? Because what that means is this has been known for a while. Okay, so look at the date here. This was, published on June of 2010. And it's a study about the fact that TV ads actually promote unhealthy diets. Okay. Um, so you look at things like they're saying here. These are some of the things. If you just pay attention, the next time you sit down, and it'll probably be today, um, as you know, it's football Sunday. World Series is on tonight as well. So the next time you sit down and just watch TV, just pay attention to what type of ads you see for food, right? So you see mac and cheese, fried chicken, French fries, chocolate chip cookies, all these different things, right? And as you're looking at all of these different foods, your body can't really utilize or doesn't crave any of it. Okay, but what the ads are trying to do is make you think that you crave these things, right? So, um, let's see here. Uh, if you make your food choices based on what you see on TV ads, right, your diet would tip the scale toward unhealthy. And then, as it says here, in fact, you would actually eat 25 times the recommended servings of sugar. Okay, now we know what eating too much sugar can lead to. We're talking about obesity, we're talking about diabetes, um, uh, carrying too much weight, etc. Right? So, 25 times the amount of sugar. And again, we're talking about if you made your food choices based on TV ads, okay? And the same thing for social media, radio, all these different things, right? But TV is specific to food because what do they use? Imagery. Okay, they use lots of imagery to make this food look enticing, right? But 25 times the amount of sugar, 20 times the recommended serving of fat, and less than half the recommended servings of vegetables. This shouldn't be here. If anybody knows me, there is no recommended serving of dairy. You should never eat dairy. But anyway, half the recommended servings of vegetables and fruits. All right, and this was done. Who did this study here? The American Dietetic Association here, very reputable association, right? So if you look at it, eating, and there's more ads, and that was actually an ad that I just clicked off of there, an ad for medication, and I kind of briefly talked about that. Again, think about sending ads for medication. You're trying to get people to think that they're sick so that they'll buy your drug. Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. But so again, eating just one of those advertised foods could on average supply you with more than 3 times the recommended daily servings of sugar and 2.5 times the recommended daily servings of fat. Now again, as we know, especially in this country here, the United States, heart disease is the #1 killer of all Americans. And also, we know that heart disease is the #1 killer of all humans on planet Earth, right? So advertising, if you're using advertising, if you're being influenced by advertising, and those are the reasons why you're choosing your foods, well, here it is, telling you that you're going to eat too much of the wrong thing. Okay. So let's see here. For example, here's another one here. Advertised food that surpass an entire day's worth of fat and sugar in a single serving should be labeled just the same way that tobacco ads are labeled. So, I mean, I'm not a smoker. I've never smoked, never even touched a cigarette carton in my life, but I do know that they put on the label, the warnings that say, hey, if you continue to do this, if you continue to smoke cigarettes, where is it right here? Oh, well, it's not on this one, but if you continue to smoke cigarettes, it could lead to health issues, cancer, et cetera, right? So they're basically saying here that we should also be putting the same warnings on the type of foods that we eat, right? So where does it go? I'm going to find that other spot right here as I scroll. Here we go. There it is. That's what I wanted. So again, food choices. Again, we're talking about food, TV ads making you choose these foods that you don't need, right? You see it over and over again. And if you were to continue to follow TV ads, this is kind of an estimate of what you would be eating if you just said, I saw it on TV, I saw it on social media, I saw it pop up on my feed. This is what we'd be eating. 2,560% of the recommended daily servings for sugar. Okay. So if we're talking about 100% scale, you can see you're far over that number, right? 2,080% of the recommended daily servings for fat, and then 40% of the recommended daily servings for vegetables, right? So now, again, if we're talking about we need to get 100%, whatever that number may be, well, we're less than half of that number, okay? And then also, again, get rid of this. We'll talk about that one day. There is no dairy that you should be consuming, right? But again, 27% of your daily requirements for fruit. So the point is here, food ads are driving you away from the things that your body needs and towards the things that your body does not need, right? Here. So another study here. Let's see, let me find that spot again. There it is. Let's see. I lost my spot here, y'all. There it is. That's what I wanted. Okay. So sorry about that, y'all. So again, if we go back here, remember we talked about the fact that we, experts in the field feel like, hey, the foods that we should not be consuming, these high fat, high sugar foods, they need to have warning labels, right? Well, there was a study done on that, right? So here it is. The study published by the University of Amsterdam used 2 scientific approaches to see if health warnings, so we're basically talking about putting warnings on the food saying, hey, don't eat this because it's bad, right? Health warnings shown before or after participants chose between 2 food options could affect their ability to make a healthier choice. So this study is basically trying to use these health warnings to see if you see it before or after. Does that make any changes with what you actually choose, right? So the results were not encouraging for anyone struggling to make a change, right, to their eating habits. So the presence of food-related stimuli, right? So again, food-related stimuli is the ads. That's what we're talking about. The food-related stimuli encourage people to make unhealthy choices even after learning that the choice was bad for them. Okay, now let's put this in perspective. This study is literally telling you that scientists have tested whether or not telling individuals that the food is bad for you has an effect on whether they make that choice when compared to having that food stimuli, and it didn't. So people are aware. Okay, and in my experience, most people are aware that no, I shouldn't eat pizza every day. No, I shouldn't drink soda every day. No, I shouldn't eat fried foods every day. Most people are kind of conscious of it, but the problem is, as we can see in the results of this study, even after learning or even being aware that these foods are not good for you, because of ads, because of stimuli, because of the way food is presented, people still make the same choices. Okay? The study concluded that health warnings such as dangers of saturated fat can effectively change people's food decisions, but in the absence of images or videos promoting unhealthy food. So, what this is saying is that, hey, if we just give you the facts, and that's what I'm trying to do here, right? If we just give people the facts, and look, as I talk about ads, what is this advertising to me? You have nothing to hide. I don't know what that's for. Anyway, um, but what they're telling you is that when you present people with only the facts, and you take away all the colors and the music and all the glitz and glamour that's associated with food ads, people are more likely to make the right choice. Okay. Now here's where it gets even worse. Okay. Now this is we've been talking about adults here. Um, Now we're talking about our kids. Okay. And one of the things I've always had an issue and I've struggled with is parents consciously giving their children foods that they know is detrimental to their health and well-being. Okay, now are we talking about the occasional? Are we talking about the occasional candy treat, the occasional French fry, the occasional night out at the restaurant? That's not what we're talking about. The occasional. We're talking about doing these things with regularity, right? So here we go. Junk food ads may cause kids to overeat. Okay. So children exposed to just a few minutes of unhealthy food and beverage marketing ate more during and after the ads. Okay. So now your children are seeing these ads and they're saying, I want this. Now you got to also think about this. Now, children, children, last time I checked, children can't go and get a job. You know, a 10-year-old can't say, hey, I want to go get a job and make some money. 10-year-old can't drive to the store and say, hey, I really want some French fries. Let me hop into my car and drive there and go buy it with the money I got from my job, right? I think in most parts, at least in the country that I live in, I think most parts of this country, you need to be at least 15, 16 years old to get a job, somewhere around there. So the question you have to ask yourself is, well, how are the children getting the foods that are causing their health to go down and down and down? Mom and dad, it's time to take responsibility. Okay. So, so again, children exposed to these ads, just a few minutes of these ads, they're more likely to eat more unhealthy food. Okay. So it doesn't matter if you steer your kids toward fresh fruits and vegetables and all that good stuff. The junk food ads still have a strong hold. So they're still seeing this imagery over and over again. So what can you do? Yeah, you could try to make sure you control what they're watching, and that does help a little bit, right? But again, as it says here, even though you're trying to get rid of some of the TV stuff, because there's lots of streaming services out there. You can watch Netflix and Prime and all that good stuff, right? But junk food ads also show up all over the internet and even in video games. Now, again, you have to, and I'm going to take my share off for a second. You have to, ask yourself a question. If you're the advertising company, right? You're the CEO, you're the team behind these ads. You have to ask yourself, well, why am I putting French fry, candy, sugar, cake, candy ads, cookies ads in a video game? Who am I targeting? Okay, who am I targeting? I'm not targeting 45-year-olds and up. Who am I targeting, right? They're putting it in video games, okay? So they're they're literally purposely and intentionally trying to get your children to eat foods that will give them things like type 2 diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, et cetera, et cetera. And parents, if you are allowing the children to eat these foods, you have to be responsible and be held accountable as well. Okay. So we know food ads shape behavior. Um, so researchers analyzed 29 previous randomized trials that together included almost 6,000 children. And look at the age group, 2 to 18. And these studies looked at many types of food and beverage marketing, including ads and TV, movies, video games, et cetera, with characters. Now it starts to get interesting, right? Think about cereal. What's on like every cereal box in the cereal aisle when it's full of sugar? There's always some type of cartoon character. Who's that advertising to? Who's that advertising to, right? So, on average, children in the studies were exposed to food or beverage ads for about 4 minutes. As a result, they ate 30 kilocalories, or just calories, during the 17 minutes after seeing the ad, compared to kids who saw no food ads. The data is right in front of you. So if you, as an adult or your child, sees an ad for something that their body does not want, they're more likely to consume it. Okay, so we have to know the tricks that are being played on our minds. We have to know that this ad is on solely to get you to buy something that your body does not want anyway. Okay, most of us don't wake up in the morning and say, hey, I really would like to get lots of fat and sugar in my body because that's what I'm craving. No, your body doesn't crave that stuff. Okay. Okay. So again, it doesn't matter if you're a child, doesn't matter if you're an adult, the ads are working against you. Now, again, I talked about the companies actually who's making these ads, right? Who's doing this? Who's putting this stuff together, right? So here's a story, and not only, this is not surprising, but it's still a little bit angering, right? So now we know that food ads target everybody as a whole. We know there's targeting among children. And now you have the racism aspect of it as well. Okay. So here's a report about junk food companies spending billions of dollars on ads targeting who? Okay. Right there. So it says right here, black teens saw more than twice as many television ads for fast food, candy, sugary drinks, and unhealthy snacks compared to white teens in 2017. Okay? It's only a few years ago, y'all. All right? So companies, and look, companies that deal in the unhealthiest food, right? Again, we're talking all that fried stuff. Look at the picture right here. We're talking French fries and candy and sweets and all that stuff, right? Companies that deal in the the unhealthiest of foods are targeting television advertising at black and Hispanic youth. Okay? We have a long history of targeting ethnic groups in this country for all different types of things, and food ads is no different. Nothing's off limit. Okay? So, again, even after many of those corporations pledge their commitment to promoting healthier eating. So they'll go out and say, oh, yeah, we care about healthier eating. But remember, if you follow the money, you're almost certainly going to figure out who's behind something, right? Follow the money. So if you're a company that makes, if you are a company that makes French fries, if you're a company that makes soda, if you're a company that makes candy, it is your job to sell those items. It is not your job to promote healthier items. Okay. So it doesn't matter if they say, oh, well, we're going to be committed to making or better, more healthy food ads. They're not going to do it because it's a conflict of interest. Their interest is in selling foods that make you sick. Okay. So here we go. So food companies spent $11 billion on television ads in 2017. Now think about that number, $11 billion on ads. Now, hold on. Let me just take 1 second here to take this last point before I wrap up. Um, One of the things that we have to understand about the way our body works is our body will talk to us. You ever hear people say, well, listen to your body, right? It's going to tell you if you're sick or if you're injured, if you're happy, sad, all these different things, right? So your body will tell you if you're dehydrated, for example, right? You may get a headache, you may have trouble concentrating, etc., right? If you're hungry, your stomach may growl. You may have what they call hunger pains, right? If you're tired, you may yawn. You may be drowsy because your body wants you to go to sleep. If your body's in pain, you will feel that, right? Etc. There's dozens of examples, but the point is, your body has a specific need for hydration via water and nutrients via food. And I use that word very, very specifically. And what I forgot to, and what I'm going to do this real quick, doing this live here. What I forgot to pull up is actually what the definition of food actually is. 'Cause I don't think anybody's actually ever looked into what food actually is. So if we look here, and I'm gonna zoom in on this. I want everybody to see this. Okay. If we look here, the definition clearly says that food is any nutritious substance that people or animals eat or drink or that plants absorb in order to maintain life and growth. I'm going to read it for you one more time. Okay? Food is defined as any nutritious substance that people or animals eat or drink or that plants absorb in order to maintain life and growth. Now, the most important part there is that we're talking about maintaining life. Maintaining life. So if it's been made ultra clear through dozens of studies, not dozens, thousands of studies over decades, it's been made clear that too much sugar, too much oil, too much fat, etc., those things do not maintain life, they subtract from life. It's been made clear forever, as long as I can remember, that those foods, those things, I shouldn't call them food, those items subtract from life, they don't help you maintain life. You can't call them food. It's not food. Okay? It's not food. So again, we're talking about, the point I was trying to make here is that your body craves food. Again, we were talking about your body speaking to you and being able to listen to your body. Your body will tell you exactly what it wants, and it wants food. It does not want things that are substitutes, right? So again, as we wrap up here, talking about the money, again, $11 billion on television ads, and they're spending that money because they know that without these ads, you won't buy their food. We've already covered the data. Without these ads, you won't buy their food. So they're spending this money to make money by killing you slowly. Okay? So 80% of that, again, was spent on the unhealthiest offerings. So, for example, if you're a company, let's break this down before we move on to my last point here. Let's break this down. If you're a company, let's say you make snack cakes and you make candy bars, and let's say you also make some type of soda and ice cream, right? Those are 4 foods, right? But you also make whole fruit and vegetable smoothies. Let's say you have the four bad foods, but uh, you also make smoothies, right? And you also make frozen vegetables. You also make what else? Salads, and you also make whole grain products, right? So four and four. So you make both types of products, yet 80% of the money that you spend is on the unhealthiest offerings. The proof is right there. So again, we've already established that children and adults are less likely to consume these products without ads, and they're telling you that out of their $11 billion that has been spent, 80% of that is spent on the unhealthiest foods, even if they make healthier foods. And what's more, black teens are more than twice as likely than white teens to see those commercials. So they're trying to poison, as it says here, the black and brown youth of this country. These companies are specifically targeting your children. So if you're a parent of a brown and black child in this country, you need to be aware of the fact that food advertising companies are trying to make your children sick. And over time, that sickness kills you faster than it has to. And they're doing it on purpose. Okay? Now, yeah, there's a lot of money in research that goes. Now, think about jobs like a nurse. I think anybody who's ever been to a hospital has been under the care of a nurse. What about a dental hygienist? Myself, I teach teachers. What about first responders like ambulance and firemen and women, right? Think about those type of careers and think about those salaries, right? Well, here is the median salary for advertising executive in advertising. Even on the low end, as we can see over here, $144,000 annually. Okay, the median, and the median is kind of just like right smack dab in the middle. The median earnings for advertising execs, $220,000. And you know what? Guess what ad is on my page right now? I just saw it, y'all. There you go. Okay. I don't want any of that, but I just saw it, so now I'm thinking about it. Okay. So these jobs pay well. They spend lots of money figuring out how to target specific groups. We already said that they use cartoon characters. Right there it is right there. They use cartoon characters to target children. And we know there's specifics on targeting specific ethnic groups in this country as well. And while they're doing all of that, while they're slowly killing you, your children as well, they're getting paid $220,000 to do so. Okay. So I'm going to wrap up, but you just got to think about this. And again, what I want y'all to do is the next time you sit down and watch television, just take a peek at the type of food ads that you actually see on television. And it'll blow your mind. Like, I'm very aware of it. I look at them all the time, and I'm just thinking everything that pops up. And we didn't even cover alcohol. We didn't even cover alcohol. I didn't have time for that. So I'll cover that on another video. We didn't even cover the fact that, if you watch a basketball game or a baseball game or a football game, they're advertising alcohol. Now, in what world would an athlete say, hey, I need lots of alcohol to perform? Why is that even on? But we'll talk about that another day. But again, if you are new to the channel, please make sure you're hitting that like button and subscribe to the channel to be always up to date on the latest content. And also, you'll see in the comments below, you can try out my 3 times the burn fitness challenge the first 2 weeks for free. So click that link and get started there. And you can also find out how you can be part of my Fit Forever family. Click that link, check out the information. As always, this is Charles Austin signing off, and make sure you're always